Hi everyone, Sue again. Today I just wanted to do a tutorial on these tags that I got stuck into and made the other day. Very easy, and it's using up stamps that you have on hand. I tend to find that I don't use my stamps all that often, and then when I do, I really enjoy using them. Also using up like all these little, I don't know if you're like me and you keep all these little bits and pieces, cut-offs from your pages, from your journals, that sort of thing. So I've got like a little container. This is just one of my containers. This is one that I just sort of delve into all the time. So we're going to be using those up. You'll need something like that. You can of course use 4 sheets of paper and cut it down if you like. That's totally up to you. I just like to try and use up any scraps that I may have on hand, recycle, that type of thing. That's what all this junk journaling's about, isn't it? So also I'm just using shipping tags today, but you can cut your tag shapes obviously out of file folders or cardstock, whatever you like. Once again, whatever you've got on hand. And then this one here I've coffee dyed already, so you can use coffee dyed, you can use plain. And I've also, well, these are coffee dyed as well, some coffee dyed paper bags, little paper bags that I've got there. So anything like that you can decorate, that's what we're going to be doing today. So you'll need some background stamps. Excuse the mess of my stamps. I'm very naughty and I don't clean mine very often. So these are just some, sorry, rummaging around over here. So that's just a script. And this is wood grain. So these are Stampers, Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, wallpaper and wood, background stamps. And there's a Kaisercraft one that I was using too. There's this one, a darkroom door background stamp, sort of like a cheesecloth, I guess, or hessian or burlap. And there was another one, but I don't know. It's such a mess here. I don't know what I've done with it. Anyway, so these are what we're going to be working on. Ink everywhere now. Now I was just looking, once again I was stuck for inspiration, so I was just looking through Pinterest the other day and I came across this lady, and underneath was tagged Triple Trouble. So that's her name. So that's where I got the inspiration from. And I just started making a few tags, and a few tags became 10, and a few more became 20, and they were fun, had heaps of fun. So that just sort of gives you a bit of an idea. This is a bigger one that I did and made it with a pocket in there, and this is just a larger, well, it's still small, but a larger paper bag, as you can see. And I've just decorated that, and then you can glue that onto your into your junk journal, and then you can put it there, use a tag or put whatever you like in there. So I thought we might sort of just do something like that today and see how we go. So you'll also, if you like to ink things up, I'm just using vintage photo and a little mini walnut stain. For my stamping, I'm using Ranger Archival ink. That's just what my preference, and that's just what I like to use. You'll need a glue, just all your standard scissors, and a stapler. You don't have to have a stapler if you don't have one. Some words. Now these are just these are words that I've actually stamped. That's not words. With using different inks. So this is Distress Inks. This is the archival ink. And that's just with a stamp that I forgot I even had. This one here. And I got it at a garage sale for $2. So it's come in handy in the end, which is good. So that, or any of these sort of words that you might have. These are just me and my big idea sticker books that I've got, so we could use these as well. So anything that you've got like that come in handy. These are just some darkroom door word strips. I think they came from there. And then also what I've done, if you've got access to a computer and a printer, you can make your own words. So this is just a sheet that I did up quickly, just with some words, and I'll just cut them out as I need them. So that's pretty easy to do just in a Word document. So we can use those as well. Just need some ribbons, some seam binding, that sort of thing, lace. These are just some bits and pieces that I've done. I've already pre-sewn any ruffles. You don't have to sew, you can glue your ruffles if you like. I just like that look. So this is just a bit of silk that I've ruffled there. These are actually some of a pair of old pajamas, cotton pajamas that have seen better days, but I love the print, so I've just stripped that down, torn it. Just some seam binding that I've sewn into a ruffle. I've dyed that and hand dyed that with coffee myself. Now, as you can see, I've only sewn a ruffle so far, because I can always just continue the ruffle if I need more, and then I've still got some on the end I can use to tie. This is just a little bit that I had left over. This one I wanted to show you. Oh, this is actually just a little bit of it's an offcut from some homespun that I actually dyed and I'm using that in the inside of my journal covers, and I was going to throw it out, but I've just made a ruffle, so all those sort of things, keep those. So just another seam binding ruffle there. Now this one here, I just wanted to show you this. This is so pretty. So this is all it's a satin bias binding. I know, I hope that light's all right. Might be a bit better. So I just wanted to show you how that all started. So I purchased it like this. So it came folded and pressed as a bias binding, like that. So then I coffee dyed it, which is this. And when I coffee dye mine, I spray it all and just leave it sit. Go back every half an hour and sort of tip it so that the coffee falls. You can see this one where it's all fallen. So that comes up quite nicely, and then once that's all happened, we then I iron it out, and you get this, which is really nice. I think it's really nice anyway. And then particularly more so once it's sewn into a ruffle. So if you've got bits and pieces like that, that'll come in handy as well. So let's get started. I've only done a couple of tutorials, and I'm really sorry, but I get really nervous. So it's different when you're sitting on your own and doing your own thing, but then trying to sort of talk about what you're doing as you go. But I'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to do a couple of blank tags, so they haven't been coffee dyed, and I'm just going to do a couple of backgrounds on them first. So with these bigger stamps, I find that they don't stamp as well if you put them on an acrylic block. I've got a very bouncy table too, which probably doesn't help much. So with this, what I've been doing is just inking up the stamp, and because we're just going to do that one tag, just ink up through the middle, And if it doesn't come out perfect, it doesn't matter. And then I just plop it down on top of that. And then you have your background there. So see how it hasn't come out perfect? That's fine. When we're going to leave that, to put that aside and let it dry. And we're going to come back and we're going to distress that anyway. So I'll just put that one aside. Just clean up the excess ink. And this is my rag from paint and that. So then let's do one with script on it. So the same thing, this one actually stamps up quite nicely, but I'll show you two. I'll do a smaller one and I'll do a larger one. So I always like to put my ink pad to my stamp rather than my stamp to my ink pad. I don't know why that is, but that's just something that I've always done. So with the little ones, you may as well kill two birds with one stone and just layer them together. And then we can just, so you probably can see my table bouncing there. Hopefully it turns out okay. Not great, but it'll do. So that's that one. But then on the larger tag, what I like to do is just actually roll my stamp in my fingers, and gives you a better, more control, I think. So we'll just sort of do that. You can see I've just rolled that and that's just filled in the space there. So I'll put that aside to dry as well. Let's find my cloth. And with this larger stamp, we'll do the same thing. We're just going to roll it with our fingers. So you can see it's not being perfect. So this would give you pretty much a perfect rectangle, and we don't particularly want that. So you can fill in the spaces though, however you like. So now I'm going to my ink pad like this, but only because I want a certain area of the stamp inked. And there you go. So that's all you need to do with the background. Okay, so as I said, you can see I've got ink all over my hands. We'll let them dry. So it's like one of those here's a couple that I prepared earlier. So that's the wallpaper and the wood Tim Holtz stamps. So these are dry now. So all I did was basically, so you can do them very plain if you like, and just get a bit of your scrap paper. I just found with these lacy punches, I've punched that. I don't know whether you can see that. I've actually punched that. You chewed them up a bit because the paper's so fine. So I mean, if you wanted to, and you've got like here's a bit of a heavier weight card that I've actually dyed, you could actually punch that if you like. Just trying to find the punch, sorry guys. Okay. So we'll punch this one. So it comes out much neater. Much neater and nicer than the, I didn't do that very well, did I? Although it's still got a little bit of chomp into it. So, but you're better off using a heavier weight card, I think. So we might use this one on here. And we don't want, well, you can make it into a pocket if you like. Let's do that. We'll make it into a pocket. We might do it on this wood grain one so that it doesn't cover up that beautiful image as much. So I'm just going to cut cut there and there. Now it's obviously it's not square with the tag. That's okay, we'll square that up soon. So, you know, do we want it that high? I don't think so. We might make it, we might take about, let's say, 1/2 inch off the bottom. And so that makes your pocket, so then you can, once we staple or glue that down, you've got a pocket there on your tag. So what I would do now is I would just roughly ink. Probably don't worry about the edges because we're going to be trimming them down to fit the tag. That's just habit. So just roughly add a bit of ink. You don't have to ink it up, you can leave it clean if you like. As I said, it's just personal preference. So I think what we'll do, that's crooked as anything. I'm going to trim that up. I don't have a very straight eye when it comes to cutting with just scissors, so I'm just going to stick this in my cutter. If I can find the... And of course now my cutter's not going to work. What's going on? I don't know, maybe it's my eye. I don't know, I think that still looks crooked. Anyway, we'll do it now. I'm not gonna fuss and waste your time on it. So I'm just gonna ink the base there. And what I'm actually going to glue this. So I just use a clear glue. So you can stitch these as well, or staple them, as these, you can see here I've stapled those, and so they're this can act as a little belly band if you like. But I just liked that look with the staple in there. But this time, because I'm doing a pocket, rather than put staples, because whatever you're putting in might catch on the staples, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the 3 sides, and I'm going to stick that down. Now I'm going to make this flush with this side, because I like where the punch ends there, and that makes it pointless why I've even put glue on there. See, I told you I'm not very good at doing tutorials. I'm going to trim that down, get rid of that, and quickly just get in there with a little bit of glue before it dries. So there you have the start of your pocket. So that looks too bare for me. I like to ink it all up, so I'm just going to really quickly and roughly go around the edge with the vintage photo distress ink, and then I just like to around where the stamp didn't get, because the reinforcer there sits a little bit higher, so just so that's got a bit of colour, and then just add a little bit of colour roughly, so it makes a huge difference. So you can do the back as well while you're at it. I won't do that now for to save time. So there's the start of the tag. You could leave that like that if you wanted to, but let's add some more. So we could stamp a word like that straight on it and leave it as it is, and then we could put a couple of staples there if you wanted to. But I'm going to put a little bit of something. What am I going to put? So I really love this satin bias binding that I've made, that I've sewn into a ruffle, sorry. So basically just work out roughly. Now, even though you've sewn and you're going to cut it, once you glue it down, it's not going to unravel. So I've just roughly cut that there, and I'm going to run a bead of glue along my sewing where I've sewn, and just catch it put a little bit of glue on the end there so that it catches that thread that you've cut through. And that's all you need. And then I'm going to just pop that down, put it closer to the bottom of the tag, I guess, so that you can still see that punched effect on the top there. So just push that down and let that sort of adhere to that. So once again, you could leave that as it is. It's cute as it is there, but I'm going to put a word on it, and I think I might use I'm going to use one of these that I printed out on my printer. So, and guys, look, honestly, if it's not cut straight, don't sweat it. It doesn't matter. Like, we want the aged look. That's what we're going for. Well, that's what I'm going for here. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So just ink around that again. If you want to, you can even just crumple it and ink it. It didn't pick up, probably because it's so small, but it didn't pick up the crease too much. And we're going to just glue that down there as well. I just let the glue. Actually, you know what else we might put on there before that dries? This is really, you probably think I'm weird, but I was tearing this ticking the other day and all the threads were coming off the side, and I ended up keeping all the threads from it. So let's put a little bit of this in under that word. So just gives it a little bit more dimension. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue. Sorry if I'm sticking my head in there. Put a little bit of glue in there under that. And look at that. I'll just trim that thread a little bit. I like to have my threads hanging as well. So there you have a tag with a pocket. So you can put little images or whatever you like in there. And then we're just going to finish that off with a little bit of, excuse me, seam binding, if I can find some. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so that's one tag done. What I might even do, excuse me, is do another video, just so that it's not taking up too much of your time, and it'll upload a little quicker. But there, as you can see, that didn't take that long at all. And then you have a cute little antique tag. So I'll leave it there, guys. I'll come back with another one and I'll go through the little bags with you, and the other larger bag, whatever I've done with it. And I might even, well, this is very similar. This is one that is a pocket as well, if I can find a tag. So that's a larger pocket, and I've just used some leftover ticking that I had, a little bit more of that satin bias binding and a letter, and then some more of that thread. I just think it looks so cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll come back for the second part of this and we'll continue and make some of the bags. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.